I'm Nicole from Harvard University, and I'm here today to talk about the World Bank. Well, I would like to start with a question. Could you ever imagine the World Bank with no poor countries? Well, obviously, I don't mean a world without poor countries, because, in fact, I just wish it could be possible, but it's probably not. But I just mean a world with poor countries not feeling like being part of the World Bank anymore. Could you ever imagine that? Well, in fact, it will mean the end of the World Bank. But we actually do have some examples of countries really willing to leave the institution. Venezuela, for example, it has declared its intention to quit the World Bank institution, to be no more part, I'm just reporting its word, of the US imperialism. Well, whether the statement is true or false, we are not here to talk about that. Well, we do believe that it could lead to a domino effect for other countries to leave the institution. I just have another question for you. Well, have you ever thought about the possibility that people like us, probably coming from rich countries, may not completely understand that a project that would seem so great for us could not be that effective for poor countries? Well, it's such a big deal. Have you thought about that? Well, you are 6 people from the ATHENS consulting group, and we've obviously thought about that. And we are here to give you solutions, to give you answers. So, we have 3 main proposals to change the World Bank institution and to make you work even more efficiently than it now does. So, first of all, we want democratic elections for the president of the World Bank. Second of all, we want a special committee to make more transparency in the World Bank within the use of money for the various projects. And third of all, last but not least, we want a special committee to work in poor countries and to make surveys to make sure that poor countries really want these projects, and these projects could be very effective for these countries. So I'll leave a word to my colleague Marwa from Yale University to further explanation.
So, hello everybody. The world economy now is dominated by a minority of governments. In fact, the European governments control the FME, or the IMF, and the United States control the World Bank. In fact, by tradition, the President of the United States picks the chief of the World Bank. Why this honor? Because the United States was the initiator of the creation of the World Bank in 1946 in order to help countries damaged by the Second World War to re-establish their situation. But now we are in the 21st century, so we can no more accept this United States domination. The nation don't like no more to be guided by the United States. In fact, countries who have not good relations with the United States, or maybe don't fit with her plans, can't have big chances to be financed or helped by the World Bank. So our consulting group find this solution. Why not election for the president in order to have more transparency in the board of the World Bank? So our first issue is to make elections within the World Bank in order to have a president that fits with all nations. Then our second issue will be presented by my colleague François from the Stanford University and Arturo from Oxford University in order to explain to you the financial corruption and fraud within the World Bank. So, here they are.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talking about how we are going to solve together the fraud and corruption issues in your project. But first, may I point out that since 1946, the World Bank have lost about $1 billion just because of corruption. Can you imagine? $1 billion. In other words, nearly 20% of the $525 billion the World Bank has lent since 1946 has been misused. Thus, that means that millions and millions of people living in poverty may have lost opportunities to improve their health, education or economic conditions.
For instance, in 2006, India's healthcare project proved to be very vulnerable to fraud. A report highlighted that there were procurement problems concerning bid rigging and record manipulation. But also, in spite of all the efforts made, there were also problems concerning audit and financial control by both the government of India and the World Bank. But moreover, this is not an isolated case anymore, because this situation took place also in other countries such as Vietnam and Brazil.
Absolutely, and that's why the time has come to act, and act fast. And we are really convinced that together, that our solutions, the following solutions, are the best decision to cope with this issue. First, you should have to place all the international contractors accused of corruption in a proscribed list, preventing them from bidding on any future project, wherever it is. By this way, you'll be able to avoid any kind of corruption.
And secondly, in order to ensure transparency and to minimize the risk of corrupt payments in the new projects, these all new projects should have the same procurement instruction. That is, to always follow the same financial steps.
And finally, in order to recognize any kind of fraud in your project, you have to train adequately your staff members. And on the other hand, in order to audit how the funds will be spent, you really have to create right now an international auditing body, independent of the World Bank, but independent too of the private sector auditing firms.
And now our colleague Valentin from the University of St. Petersburg will explain us the expectation of local people of our projects.
Thank you.
Another proposition concerning the World Bank reconstruction is to introduce new department responsible for the on-site control of the efficiency of the project based on the local people surveys. I've got several examples of projects. The first one is a project implemented in Uganda and Bangladesh. Its essential is in providing. Its essential is to lower the malnutrition rate among children. Consists in providing eligible children with food on a daily basis. But the World Bank hasn't taken into account the fact that the mothers cannot bring their children every day to special centers. Only 20% of eligible children get this help, and this is bad. What's more, this project is still financed, and now it's a matter of several hundreds of millions of dollars, which puts the country deeper in the debt. What's even worse, the same project is going to be implemented in Ethiopia without any changes. International organizations like Save the Children UK claim that this money could have been used better. Another example is a dam construction project in Pakistan. It was successful because it solved the energy problem of the region, but the environmental considerations were taken into account. And after the construction works were finished, thousands of people had to migrate, losing everything they have. And the economical situation of the region aggravated, it became worse than ever. So there are two types of projects which of mistakes that should be addressed in order to help the World Bank to fulfill its mission of struggling against poverty in an efficient manner. The first, there are projects that are unsuccessful because of the misfitting for the population lifestyle, and another type of projects is a project with bad consequences that aggravate poverty situation in regions. That's why we can introduce a new department which would be responsible for local population service on all stages of project implementations. Okay, now I want to leave the floor for Professor Romain, who will make a summary of our presentation.
Thank you, Valentin. Good morning, everybody. I hope you paid much attention to our presentation, but I will do some sum up. And as you can see at the organizational structure behind me, we proposed you three main structural modifications in order to that the World Bank should consider in order to improve its mission all over the world and do this mission more efficiently. Then the first point at the top of the structure is that the World Bank should organize democratic elections for its president. And the second point at the middle is that the World Bank should think about paying more attention to the cash flows that they use in the organization, and that's why we propose to create an independent and international organization that will be able to have a look upon all the cash flows from the organization. The third point at the bottom is that the World Bank should create a new department that will focus on all the on-site investigation and study, and then take more attention pay more attention to the local expectation. We think that these three structural modifications are the solution that will solve all the major issues that the World Bank encounter nowadays, and that in its missions, but also concerning the population, because the population today doesn't trust the World Bank anymore. I hope that we met your expectation, and that we will be able to work on our project together. And I would like to thank you a lot for your attention on our presentation. Right now, we kept some time to answer some questions if you would like that we develop something on our project. But if nobody have a question, then I think that I should introduce you Mr. Braid, that will give us some opinion on our subject.
Okay. It's funny.
I will see you independently.